I'm Anil Kumar. This video is for my student Amandeep. You have a genuine question. You want to start with advanced functions and you need to know what should we do now. It is good time to work on these topics. The first one is factoring skills, then completing the squares, graph, lines and parabolas, parent functions and transformations. You have touched upon these topics in previous grades and I'd like you to brush up these things now. Let's talk about these in separate videos. So I'll give you links for all these topics. You can do a few examples and get ready for advanced functions. When we say factoring skills, we'll be talking about common factors, correct? So things like common factor, then we had group factor, and the equations could be where we have product and sum to consider. We could have difference of cubes and difference of squares. Let me write difference of squares here. And we can also have perfect squares. So these are few things which you have learned, and you'll find a link for these things. We'll discuss it in separate video. Now, completing these squares. When we talk about completing the squares, then what are we really interested in? So when we talk about completing the squares, we are interested in finding vertex of parabola. That will help you to answer the question on range of such functions, and at times completing the squares also help you to solve equations. So that is the significance of completing squares with reference to the chapters in advanced functions. Graphing lines in parabolas is the next very important topic. You're going to graph many different kinds of functions. Lines and parabolas are the very basic. That means these are the polynomials, so degree 1 and degree 2 respectively. We will deal with many functions which we'll discuss in parent functions. So I'll provide you a link for parent functions and then also see how to graph lines and parabolas. We can have a review on this also. Now, parent functions, when we talk about in advanced functions, we have 6 or 7 parent functions. Let me just list them here for you. I'll sketch them one by one, right? So let me just make coordinate planes for each one of them, and then I'll sketch some of them. First parent function is a straight line, which is y equals to x, right? Y equals to x is a straight line. Then we have y equals to x squared, which is a parabola. So that is a parent function, quadratic function. Then we do have x cubed. So in polynomials, it could be even degree or odd degree. Odd degree will be like y equals to x cubed. Then we have absolute function, which is this line flipped, negative part flipped, right? So kind of like this. So it is very similar to the line, except for it is kind of a piecewise function. So we could say y equals to absolute x. It is also defined as x for x greater than equal to 0 and minus of x for x less than 0, right? Now we have reciprocal function, which is 1 over x, kind of like this. I'm just changing the ink so that we could, it doesn't get messed up. So that is the reciprocal function, and let me squeeze in a few more here, or let me graph them on top of it. So I'll just squeeze in a few more here. So one of them is called square root function, whose graph is kind of like this, and the equation is y equals to square root of x. So that is the square root function. And you have also done exponential functions. So let me sketch those exponential functions also for you. This is the kind of function always increasing. You can say 2 to the power of x, for example. So let me write down y equals to 2 to the power of x. So that becomes your exponential function. and then we'll have trigonometric functions, which sine wave is your very basic trigonometric function, right? So sine wave is the trigonometric function. When it is moved left or right, it looks like a cosine wave. So sine wave is a function which is of our interest for advanced functions. We can write y equals to sine x. So these are a few functions which we are going to explore. So I'd like you to go through the links on parent functions and understand their basic characteristics. When we say basic characteristics, we mean characteristics like domain, range, increasing, decreasing, interval, and behavior, symmetry, and so on. So there are many characteristics which we have to look into, right? Now the last topic here is transformations. Now most of the time you will be given equations where these parent functions will be transformed. When these functions are transformed, then you may have to find x, y intercepts and some other characteristics. So transformations become a huge topic for us in advanced functions. So I'd like you to review all these topics and get ready for advanced functions. Please go through the links which are provided here on this particular video to refresh your knowledge about these topics. I'm Anil Kumar, and I hope that it really helps you. Thank you and all the best.